Right, Tony, afternoon.
That's not too fucking staged, is it?
I'm sorry.
What am I doing?
Sorry, mate.
What am I doing, mate? What am I doing? You know what? I'm usually doing some engine maintenance because this time of year for us isn't probably this kind of thing. But a chap came in and had some issues with the motor that after a leak down test, we diagnosed it as bad seating valves, which can happen. The two middle inlets were leaking like a fucking sieve and were jacuzziing up. Once we introduced some air and fluids, and the exhausts weren't too chirpy. But we didn't check those though, because we sent the cylinder head off to be checked, and they vac tested them all and found the exhaust to be a little bit limp. Sorry. Lubricate as per manual. So yeah, it's unusual for doing engine work this time of year, but we've got some bits and bobs in, and to be fair, it's kind of round about, I don't know, a month or two before we start doing this thing a little bit more often. Once the winter refreshes come in, I'm just seeing these, and then we've got to go through the torque sequence. But yeah, once the sort of September, October time kicks in, I reckon. Sometimes November, you start seeing, the annual gearbox refreshes, engine refreshes, that kind of thing. But hey, it is what it is. You've got to try and squeeze this stuff in as and when it needs doing. Kind of pain in the arse, isn't it? The guy's going straight on a European, so I think he's trying to get a track day in on Monday.
Monday, when at Donington Park, yeah.
So
putting the hours in.
Well, yeah, so you kind of got to. I don't like that sort of self-imposed pressure, but you know what I'm fucking like. Bit of a glutton to get shit done. But I've got to say, it's the last 4 months or so, probably using the new diary system that you and Ash introduced, has certainly taken away some of that self-imposed pressure,
Yeah, it's working now. Phones being answered. More people are getting talked to.
Yeah, that's the big thing as well, isn't it? Fucking getting the phones, because while I'm doing this sort of stuff, there's not a chance in hell that I could be answering calls and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's kind of my job. Keep everybody away from you. Keep you on the tools.
Gatekeeper.
Gatekeeper.
That's the fucking key. That's the phrase, isn't it? But
it's not that you don't care, but you want to do the work.
Well, yeah, to be fair, I love talking to people, but maybe that's half the fucking problem, isn't it? Because once you're talking and trying to catch up or talking through people's jobs and stuff like that, then, you ain't doing any jobs, you're not on the tools, which, unfortunately, at the end of the day, is what we need to do, keep the fucking doors open.
That's right.
So, give me 2 secs, because now, that's better. Now, one more. Now they're all just lightly seated. Got to go through the torque sequence. Stretch bolts on these cylinder heads, so got to torque them 3 times. I think it is. I think it's 10 newtons, 15 newtons, 45 newtons. Slacken them off, 15 newtons, and then 160 degrees, if I remember rightly. Yes. So get a marker out, so at least I can dot them as and when I know I've done them.
This is in pretty bad nick, wasn't it? It basically leaking like a sieve.
It was, yeah. In actual fact, I think I might video that, If I did, I will find it and add it after this. And then
insert here.
Well, yeah, it will be, won't it, really? It's not the truest test, but at the end of the day, if it holds gas, it should hold liquid. So we did a leak down test, saw that it had massive leakage. And like I say, put some fucking fluid down there, and it literally blew out like a geezer.
Yeah.
Doing it the proper way, which is obviously creating a vacuum from the bottom when you see the tool. I haven't got any videos actually. We don't do that here. It basically draws it. So they put something on here, I believe it is. It creates a vacuum there, and obviously it's drawing on both the valves. And if there's any leakage in the valve there, it says it on the vac gauge. So, and then I presume they have a jig to go in here, but like I say, we don't do it. So we're going to trust and rely on those. Okay, crisscross sequence, 10 newtons. This is going to be awfully boring for anybody watching this.
Should we fast forward this bit?
Yeah, fuck it.
Now then, Tony, why are you putting a mark on those bolts?
One, because I hate talking when I work, because then I'll forget shit. But that's the point, is for these, well, for most, in all fairness, there's always a sequence. For certain this is a sequence you want to fuck up because it's stretch bolts. And to be fair, at 15 quid a bolt, I don't want to fucking overstretch one and then have to replace it. But essentially, because it's a sequence, at least this way, if I get disturbed, which I try not to, you guys know not to disturb me, we're doing this on purpose, or forget, in that way, I know what I've got to. So having a look at it now, every single bolt is got one dot. So that tells me that I've been through sequence number 1, which in this case is 10 newtons. So I'm going to go do the second sequence, which is tighter than that. There. Thinking, fuck yeah.
I was worried about that.
Yeah, me too. Right. Second dot. So I've started the second sequence.
Something so simple, I wouldn't have thought of myself. That's why I don't build engines.
Well,
that's really cool. That is. I'm going to use that.
Just something fucking simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Every mechanic in the country is shouting at me now, like I should know that.
Well,
but
yeah.
I've found that quite useful, mate.
But also, every mechanic will probably shout you for doing things different ways, holding the torque wrench in a different way, doing it this way, using extensions. Everyone's got their way. I mean, to be fair, in this sort of sequence here, we're almost pre-stretching because we're going to do 10, 25. I think I fucking said this. Myself.
Yeah.
But the point is, it pre-stretches it and we loosen it and we do a final. So, but that's the key. We've got our angle meter for that. So, got a wicked little angle meter that we put on a wrench. Obviously, you don't want to use a torque wrench, but you put that on a wrench. That way, we can set the datum, set 160 degrees. Whoosh, away we go.
Man, love that.
That's the head all torqued down, and just like that, it's timed up and done, sir. Say just like that.
It was easy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Click of the fingers.
You know what? It's fucking 7 o'clock. Let's get this in the chassis. See you guys later.
A few moments later.
Yeah, well, as you saw there, that didn't go to plan, did it? So after breaking us what's-its with Chris on the evening, getting that engine all back together, it seems that there was another issue. So once we got it in the frame, got the bike up and running, we discovered a few other things which never come across before, to be fair. But there is always a first. Unfortunately, that necessitated should have put that in the bloopers. No, fuck it, carry on. That necessitated a engine out again, engine apart, and this time we went for the full build. So we went through, and there's nothing like a great deadline because this bad boy is heading out on a European event. So we've got it on the dyno behind us, running it in, mapping it, and obviously checking for any leaks, knocks and bangs before they head out. Not ideal. We always like to get a UK day in before they go off for a Euro, but unfortunately that was the Monday just gone, because when we shot that original video after the cylinder head rebuild, the plan was for it to be collected and had a little run out, but there we are. Not everything goes to plan, to be fair. Some things are completely out of your control, but we do our best to basically make shit happen, and you can only do your best. So I'm halfway through this at the moment, and the good thing was we got some baseline numbers before this whole saga started, so we'll see what the improvements are once we're all done. Well, done. That was a journey that I didn't expect when we first started doing this video, just to talk about our engine refresh service and sort of being surprised that we're doing this sort of not mid-season, but kind of mid-season, because to me it's still sunny and we've had a shit summer, so anything's still mid-season at the moment, although it is September. But yeah, wow, that one tested me. Certainly the parts gods were on our side with this one, but yeah, she's all ready. She's been on the dyno, running, you know, leak checked, all that kind of thing, because obviously we prefer to do that before we deliver your bike, just to make sure that nothing is untoward, because we are human. Things can happen, cases can leak, new gaskets can leak, that kind of thing. So we do like to go for all that on the bikes that we refresh. Interestingly, product in my hand, and yes, this is a shameless plug. Check that out. Right, so this is Crazy Ones. Probably never heard of them because they are more of a cottage industry product, and it's a product that we come across purely because of Ash Norrington Parwa here in the shop. He used this and he introduced it to our shop when he came over to become part of this business. And basically, oh man, it's fucking excellent. I'm going to put a link in the description if I get a chance to get this on our website. But for instance, this is labelled up chain cleaner. But I've cleaned this bike with it. All the rubber marks and things like that on the fairing. It's fantastic, to be fair. It can be used for so many things. And because it's a chain cleaner, it does leave a slight residue. It's not like brake cleaner where it completely strips everything. But yeah, we've used this for all kinds of cleaning. It really needs general cleaner on there, but they do all kinds of other products. They do a brake cleaner, they do like a detailing spray, they do an electrical cleaner, all that kind of stuff. So time is always against me, but I'm going to do my best to get those listed on the website. And if anybody's interested in trying these products, we'll offer these at free shipping. So it'll be just like popping into our shop. So worth checking out, to be fair. I wouldn't normally punt something just for the sake of it. We make very little on this. It's more the fact that it's a fantastic product. My only gripe is that he doesn't do this in the 5 litres that we can put into our spray bottles. But we have loads of these in the shop. We use them all over the place. But there, so the R1, shameless plug over. The R1 ended up around 189, I believe. I'll need to check my dyno charts. I was here till late. But yeah, 189. We've got a very modest reading dyno that is at the back wheel, not at the crank, like some dynos do measure. Considering it came in at 165 with a baffle and then 174 without the baffle, that's when we knew something wasn't right with the bike. I'm happy with that on a fresh build. You know, it's had some running in miles. We'll get it out on track, get some more running in. But considering that, I would say 90% of the R1s that measure on our dyno come in at around the 190, 195 mark. I'm dead happy with that number, to be fair, dead happy. And that is also, just as a point of note, that is also just bikes that we've run, not necessarily tuned. It's just we get an idea on our dyno what things measure compared to others. And that's the thing, it's consistency when it comes to dynoing, to be fair. You know, we hear a lot of stories say, my bike made, and they give us a number, and we put it on, and it's like 10 breakdown. And then I get the, yeah, but they told me, and I'm like, whoa. They haven't told you a lie. It's what their dyno measured. Whether it's ambitious, whether it's a tune selling numbers dyno, who knows? But that's what it measured. Because the key is where you start, where you finish. That's the main thing, to be fair, because you need to see that relative gain. Use the dyno as a tool, the tool that it's made for. Measuring power are just a measurement. So in this case, we measured at 174. We ended up in the late 180s. You know, nearly 190. So we can see relative gain for the work that's been done. Obviously, if it started at 180 and ended at 200, started at 190, ended at 205, the key here is relative gain. See so many arguments out there on the on socials, and you know, your bike can't make that, it can't make this. In actual fact, I've even weighed it in on a few sometimes. You're right, some numbers do seem ambitious. But the key is where it starts, because if they start at 174 and then someone claims it goes to, I don't know, 207, that's bullshit. They don't make that just in mapping. The engines don't make that. But if they start at 190 and end up at 200, then that relative gain is no different to starting at 170 and ended at 180, or starting at 180 and at 190. I'm off on a tangent. Thanks for watching this video again. Please hit the like button on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you like our bike content and what we do around here on the workshop. And until next time.